Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Getaway Zone.
This week we're travelling from Augustalla through to Quilpie, where we spend a lovely couple of nights there. Then we travel south to Thargomindah for another few days, not far from the Queensland-New South Wales border, before travelling east through to Cunnamulla. Here the rain event that occurred in May caught up to us, which covered most of Queensland, and we spent a few days in rain at Cunnamulla before travelling further east across some flooded roads to finish the week at St. George.
Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. Silent ball, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild.
Now arriving at the lake, that's the name of this camping site, the lake, which is just outside of Quilpie, about 3 kilometres outside of Quilpie according to the signs. We're going to choose the unpowered area near the amenities, which I think is $25 a night, which is pretty good. Or we can go on the other side of the lake away from the amenities for $15 a night. Or there's powered sites I think for 35 or something like that, but we'll go in the unpowered. You can see a couple of vans there already.
Oh dear. It's all going to be parked.
Straight on through, I'd say. Inside. Arrival at our campsite, the lake at Quilpie. And we are the only one down on the lake, possibly because it's a little bit wet in places still, but where we are is nice and dry. The owners have said that the lake is up higher than normal, but it's just starting to drop again now. And I think we've got a fantastic spot. We are not that far from the homestead. You can see the powered sites up there. The vans up in the powered side, except up there. No one down here on the unpowered side at the moment. So now, time to set up. Baldy top lookout, just outside of Quilpie on the Quilpie-Thargomindah road. So just have a look around and see what's here. Some of the photographs we've seen on the roadside look beautiful. Nice little walk. They've cut some steps out. Looks like they have a star tracker apps you can download as well to look at the stars overnight, but we won't be doing that. Well, as you can see, we've only come 100 metres and we're already puffing. The town of Quilpie over there.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
It is beautiful countryside. Anyway, onwards and upwards. It's a pretty good little track, really. A couple of little steep parts just at the start. And it's not a long way up. Well worth the hike though. So we've left Quilpie and now on our way to Thargomindah, which was not on our itinerary at all, but we've changed again. So we only stayed 2 nights at Lake Hoodraman at Quilpie. Hoodraman. Yeah, that's pretty much what I said. Mainly because the news kept saying that there was going to be lots of rain, and so we pulled out a day earlier because we didn't want to get stuck down there on that clay. Plus where we're camped was only a few centimetres above the lake level, so it wouldn't take much for it to rise up to where we were. So which is a shame because we're really enjoying it. It's a beautiful area and we'll definitely keep that one on our list to go back to at some point. And anyway, today it's blue skies and not a cloud in sight, so I think the weatherman got it wrong as usual, but not worth taking the risk. So now we're travelling to the highway to Thargomindah. There's obviously been some rain here, as you can see by the water in the low-lying areas, but I don't think they've had any for a few days now, so the road's pretty good. And there's bitumen all the way in this direction. Arrived at Thargomindah's hydroelectricity plant. Obviously no longer functioning, but it was apparently the first one of its type in Australia to use artesian water to drive the wheel for the hydroelectricity. 3 of the attractions, including this hydro plant, are fully automated, so you can visit at your own leisure. You just need to purchase a $12.50 swipe card from the Visit Information Centre, which gives you access to each of these locations. The swipe card to activate, and the blinds come down and give us our information show. Very well done.
Electric power for street lighting, and only the 3rd place in the entire world after London and Paris.
And this little beauty here is a water wheel you've all been hearing about. The heart of the hydro plant here in Thargomindah. It's driven by a jet of water that comes up from the bore, which in turn drives the shaft and charges the dynamos and turns everything into electricity.
We have power. That's where we're going now. The Thargomindah hydroelectricity plant in the old jail. The old jail is broken or something, so we're not visiting that one, but go in here and have a look, see what we're with.
In the 1940s, because then I could call the doctor for emergencies and get the medicine here that we needed to help people. I had to do up the orders for the medicine and get them in. The first day I started out here, everything...
You get a lot of outpatients, like for example, there was this little boy, fell onto something or other and got a bad tear in the top of his arm. And we had floods and couldn't get him out, but it was a bit...
1,100 kilometres west of Brisbane, nestled within the curve of the Baldy River, under an enormous expanse of blue sky and surrounded by the brilliant orange-red dust of southwest Queensland.
And our 3rd and final location is the jail, Thargomindah Jail. This is the size of the... This is the size of the old jail cell. He doesn't look like a ruthless sort of a person.
Look at his eyes, they look very sad.
But he's in jail. It is fairly realistic, isn't it?
Very realistic.
It's just a bit scary, really. Well, of the 3 of them, that was probably the least interesting, but yeah, taking all 3 into account, it was well worth doing. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
It was a couple of hours' time of very interesting information. If you come to Thargomindah, do get the pass and do the 3 tour. We were lazy and drove around, but there's tracks you can walk the whole way around. It's about 2 kilometres. This morning, 8:45, we're already on the road. Well, that's early for us. We're only getting out of bed around 7:38. So we're leaving Thargomindah and heading for Cunnamulla. And the reason we're leaving so soon is this. Check out the radar. So the radar's been telling us lots of rain coming, but so far Thargomindah's been avoiding it, but we're driving straight into it apparently, but we have
Nowhere else to go.
We have to leave because the caravan park's full. Everyone's rushing to the caravan parks before the rain hits, and we want to Thargomindah is full and the one at Cunnamulla has room, probably because it's raining there. Well, we checked the road report and the road is still open through the Cunnamulla, so 3 hour drive, here we come. We just filled up at the Thargomindah fuel depot. Oh my goodness, look at that price. That is by far the dearest.
Was it $2.40 a litre?
Yep. $2.42 is by far the dearest. Black oil was the second dearest at $2.25. I think where everyone else has been pretty crazy around the $2, $2.05 mark. Even little places like Tambo and places like that were only $2.05. So, but you know, this is the southwest we're getting into, so I guess you can expect to pay more. Oh, the Weather Bureau had it wrong. It covered an hour and a half without seeing any rain, but now looks like the Weather Bureau had it right. This probably says it all. We've arrived in Cunnamulla to a rainy day. Looks like it's going to be raining for at least a day or two. It's not too bad now, saying just a slight spit. However, we got to the caravan park we'd booked, which is the Cunnamulla tourist van park, only to be told that our booking was cancelled because people weren't leaving due to the rain. So we're in the other caravan park, they were fully booked out, so they left us high and dry with nowhere to go, which was very nice of them. I pulled into this pub, Club Boutique Hotel Cunnamulla. The lovely lady there was very helpful. Said park in the side street, us and a couple other vans, run a power lead into the back of the pub and they'll put power on for us. So here we are parked up with power at Cunnamulla. Thanks to the lovely lady at the Club Boutique Hotel. Refused to take any money for the power, so it's just what you do in the country. So we'll have a great meal there tonight and sit and watch some live music there on. So from a little bit of poor service from the lady at the caravan park for not ringing us up before we left Thargomindah to tell us our booking had been cancelled, to some fantastic service here. Well done to the lady here. Anyway, we're here for not really sure how long, obviously until the rain settles down a bit. It looks like the rain's sort of going east and south, which is the two directions we would have chosen to go. So we spent first weeks pretty much running away from the rain, but this week it's all over Queensland and northern New South Wales, so we've got nowhere to run, so we'll just hang around here till we find somewhere to go. Anyway, all part of the fun of caravanning life, I guess. Well, good morning. We are still at Cunnamulla and it's still raining outside, although just a very light drizzle, but it's been pretty much that way all throughout the night. And we're still on the side of the road outside the pub, which you can't see from in here. We're still sitting in our van while we decide on our next destination. We're hoping to get into the Warrego River tourist caravan park sometime today, because we heard that people are leaving, and so we're hoping to get in there and stay for another couple of days at Cunnamulla, where we actually get a chance to unhitch the van and go for a wander around, even if it is a little bit wet. This morning in Cunnamulla, been here, what's our third day, we had 2 nights here. We were moved yesterday from the side of on the roadside, beside the pub. We were told we're no longer able to stay there. The bus driver, because we had a power cord across the footpath and the council moved us on, so we couldn't stay. So the pub owner, the actor, was very kind and allowed us to move into the back of the pub. So that's where we are now and about to leave. The bus you can see there was at the pub last night. We've got a little bit of video I'll put in later. We had a good night with them and the bus driver. He was excellent. Very entertaining evening. Anyway, this is where we are at the moment at the back of the pub, which doesn't look great, but look, it was somewhere to stay and we had power, as you can see. So it was really good. and that was very good of the publican to do that for us. Anyway, we're back on the road today and we're off to Cunnamulla. I've just realised I just crawled out of bed, so I'm still wearing my jammies and everything.
Just before it rained, took us all the way to New Orleans. I pulled my harpoon out of my dirty red bandana. Come on! Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy going when Baldy sang the blues, but if that was good enough for me, good enough for me and Baldy McGee. I've been nothing but a funny money riddle. Thank God I'm a country girl. I don't know what comes next.
Well, we've left Cunnamulla and we're now travelling to St George, which is another town that wasn't on our original itinerary. We were only going to go as far as Baldy, but we really need to stay on power for a couple of days because we're going to get some washing done, really, because it's just so overcast. And this morning we're travelling in fog, so 9 o'clock in the morning and we've got a foggy morning. So I'll see you in St George. So you wouldn't want to be pulling off the road here, so it's very muddy and very wet. So if we meet a big truck coming the other way, hopefully we can both stay in the bitumen. I don't think either one of us will be wanting to hop off. So this is on the way to St George, and we always seem to make a habit of going from the area where it's starting to dry out into a wet area again.
Seriously.
Well, we're getting a bit of water on the road now.
Seriously, this is very, very scary. rain event continues for the next 4 days, with all roads from St George closed, except for the one road south to New South Wales.
I don't want to play anymore.
Despite the water over the road, we made it through to St George with the road being closed by the local council after we passed through the previous section. We will see you again next episode as the rain event continues for the next 4 days, with all roads from St George closed except for the one road south to New South Wales.
Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild.